Good evening, folks, and welcome to our new show, The Blood Spattered Trio, featuring yours truly, Sean Erschen, Hellhound from the HorrorMetal channel, and Bronco Juggalo Talks Movies. Do you think you have what it takes to survive? All right, guys. So I went on a few minutes early because I'm going to send out the invites to Mr. Horror Metal. That is Hellhound from the HorrorMetal channel, and Bronco Juggalo Talks Movies. They're going to join us in a few minutes. And just so you know, this is actually created by Hellhound from the HorrorMetal channel. This was his idea, and he came up with all the topics. So today we're going to be talking all about the big five of the slasher genre, and that is Halloween, Friday the 13th, A Nightmare on Elm Street, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and Child's Play, the Chucky franchise. All right, so let me send out the invites, get the formalities over with. Okay. All right, Mr. Bronco Juggalo. This is going out to you, brother. All right, now. Mr. Hellhound from the HorrorMetal channel. Let's send out his invite. All righty. All right, so I just sent that out. And just to be on the safe side, I'm going to copy and paste the link and send it to Facebook Messenger, just in case they don't have the Google Hangout set up.
Yo.
All right, guys. All right, guys. I just sent you the link. All right, I see you, Hellhound.
Awesome. Glad we're finally doing this. It's something I want to do for a long time.
All right, man. I gotta turn the volume up. I can't hear anything. All right. So, do we Uncle yet? We're a few minutes early. All right. So I gotta make sure we're actually live. All right, so I am seeing us live on the air.
So we're on YouTube.
We got
for sure.
Makeup Stun. What's that?
We're on YouTube.
Yeah, we are on YouTube right now. We are live.
Okay. Awesome.
So we got Horrific Nightmares JM in the chat right now.
What's up, buddy? Yeah, I can't see the chat, so it's not looking like there's an option to see the chat. So I guess I'll just let you handle that. Whatever. I can't even see it. So if anybody says hi to me, sorry, I can't see it.
All right, so I was telling everybody that the show is all your idea.
Thank you.
And you came up with all the topics and everything. We were going to have it on your channel, but you had little technical difficulties. So.
Yeah. Oh, well, this is fine. I told everybody where to go, so hopefully all my viewers that were interested in this sort of thing will know to come on over here to your channel.
Yeah, come on down and join us, folks, for the Blood Spattered Trio.
Yeah, this is going to be an awesome show, I think. This has real potential. I've been wanting the three of us to have a thing going for a while now.
Some nice discussions.
Oh, yeah.
All about the big 5 today.
I keep hearing weird noises down here in this
Do you
basement.
do you have YouTube on your phone, or is the volume on?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. I don't have any
Okay.
issue.
Yeah, just took a package over to the vampires that live next door. I got their package by mistake, and someone knocked on their door. Nobody answered. Nobody ever comes out of that house, and their lights are always out. And so I don't know. I'm hearing stuff now, so hopefully they haven't come back to hunt me down since I disturbed their rest or whatever.
You got Jerry Dandridge living next door?
Yeah, I hope so. I'm gonna tell him to make me into one.
Oh, we got Hey Internet Eric here. I made the stream. Sean got this, and Children of the Corn on in the background. That's a good one. What's up, Mr. Horrific Nightmares JM?
Yo. Yeah, again, I can't see the chat, so if anybody's trying to talk to me or whatever, sorry I'm unable to view it. But
so, are you on your phone right now? Or?
I'm on my iPad.
Oh.
I guess I probably should use my laptop.
If you have your phone next to you, you can.
Yeah.
You can.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, duh. Yeah, I should.
That's what I'm doing right now.
Silly me.
It
says vampires, man. It says vampires next door. They use their powers on me.
The power of seduction.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see here. Yeah, I can just look at the chat through my phone. Hell yeah, that's a fantastic idea.
Horrific Nightmares GM says, which Children of the Corn? I mean, what other ones matter except the first one?
Yeah, I kind of like the second one too, but after that,
honestly, that's the only one I've seen.
Oh yeah,
original.
Yeah, it's not a great franchise, honestly.
And isn't it still like going?
Yeah, they've even remade it, and there's still being sequels to it. All right.
Gonna just go on till the end of time.
There's no.
Isn't it still like going?
Yeah.
You might want to turn the volume down.
Yeah, I did. So it's not like an echo.
So can you see the chat?
No, I might have to download the YouTube app on my phone because I know I can see it through the YouTube app. I'm not sure if there's a way to do it on Safari. I've never really tried.
There's like a box on there where you get live chat,
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, on the YouTube app there definitely is, but I'm not seeing one here on the.
Oh, we got Andrew Bellina in the house. What's up?
What's up, buddy?
And we got Reddy in the house. What's up?
Yo. All right, it's 7 o'clock.
Usually
Where's Bronco at?
It's almost 7 o'clock. Where are you at? I posted the. There he is.
What up, Bronco?
You there?
Okay, there you are.
I can hear you, but I can't see you.
Can't see you.
There we go. There he is.
Right on time, brother.
There he is.
It was being dumb. It wouldn't let me in.
Oh, really?
It was telling me I'm about to join the chat. Please wait, but it wouldn't give me the option to join. So I started it.
All right, so guys, we are live here. This is our new show, The Blood Spattered Trio, featuring Hellhound from the HorrorMetal channel and Bronco Juggalo Talks Movies.
Hello, guys.
Oh, yeah.
Say hello, Hellhound. This is your show here. You came up with it all.
He's got some serious potential.
So, absolutely.
Yeah, I downloaded the YouTube app on my phone.
We already got.
Actually look at the chat and interact with it and stuff.
Right. Usually Bronco's better than that than I am.
Sorry, dude.
And that's it. I'm not so good with keeping track of all the chat.
Yeah, I'll try my best once I get this working. It's going really slow, like for some reason, just
So,
just
guys, we're going to
because.
be talking about the big five of the slasher genre, and that is Halloween, Friday the 13th, A Nightmare on Elm Street, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and the Child's Play franchises. The big five.
And Fast and the Furious.
What?
Just kidding.
Are you serious?
No. Not at all.
I actually do like the Fast and Furious. Kind of.
They're fun, they're stupid.
I love the Fast and Furious.
Yeah.
But I love.
That's the first example I could think of. I was trying to think of like another series that's very obviously not horror, and that was the first one that came to mind. I was trying to think of something stupid, but I should have said Leprechaun, even though that is horror.
That'd be like the bottom five.
Yeah. All right, so what's the first question or whatever?
Yeah, what'd you say? Then you said, well, what one of them you said, what's the best original movie of the franchise?
Yeah, we got to talk about what the best original movie, the best series overall, the best villain, which one has the best remake, and the best soundtrack. I think was like 5 different categories for the big 5, I suppose.
Right. So you want to start that one with the best original movie?
I think the best original movie is definitely Halloween. Just for originals, just for the first movie in the series, I think Halloween is definitely the most sophisticated, the most well done, probably the scariest, most suspenseful, best directed, best acted. To me, Halloween's like the godfather of horror movies in general, and so obviously when it comes to slashers, I'm gonna say it's the best for that as well. So I definitely say Halloween as far as the originals go.
Mr. Bronco Juggalo?
As always, my can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Halloween, definitely hands down.
Hell yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to get the chat up. I'm using my brand new webcam I just got, so I'm trying to get the chat in time.
Yeah, I'm just gonna do it from my phone.
Yeah.
So the chat, I mean.
Yeah, I can.
That's what
Halloween is my absolute favorite. I love Halloween. Younger, it was Nightmare on Elm Street, but as I got older, the Halloween near and dear to me, and yeah, definitely the best one in my opinion.
All right, now I can see the chat.
Michael's my favorite, and nobody compares to him. There's nobody else that has even the character that he has, and I mean, like Freddy and Chucky, they have personality. They have charisma, but they don't have the depth of character that Michael has.
I agree completely.
Yeah, so it's gonna be unanimous, I guess, because Halloween's my absolute favorite movie. Period. My favorite horror film, my favorite slasher. Everything about it is just masterful. The soundtrack, I love all the characters, especially Michael Myers, of course, is such an iconic villain. And you can't say enough about John Carpenter's direction and the way it was shot. You had the awesome cinematography from Dean Cundy. That's what makes so many of those images that stick with you. And such a great atmosphere. Even like when it's bright and sunny out, it looks beautiful. You see outside, and and then the dark when Michael comes out. Such an awesome movie. I think it's a 5-star classic that just never gets old, and there's nothing cheesy about it at all. It's just straight up awesome. It's not like some of these 80s slashers or whatever don't quite hold up.
Generic drivel. Not Halloween,
Yeah.
It's a classic. I'm glad we all agree on that. For me, Texas Chainsaw Massacre would be a close second, but It's for the original.
For me too, but probably not
original.
Bronco.
But we'll get to that here soon.
All right, unanimous there, huh? Love it.
So how would you rank them, the originals?
Oh, you mean what's the best one and the least
Yeah,
favorite?
the original movies only. Yeah.
So I would say Halloween. Oh man, that's tough. Damn. I love Nightmare on Elm Street. I'm gonna
It's
have
a
to
tough
go.
one. It's a tough
I'm
one.
gonna have to go Texas Chainsaw,
Yeah.
then Nightmare on Elm Street, then Friday 13th, then Child's Play.
Yep, that's my exact ranking. So I don't even need to say mine. You just said it for me. So that's my exact ranking. It's very close between Friday and Nightmare, though. Very close.
Like the original Friday 13th?
Yeah. Well, I think that Nightmare on Elm Street is definitely like a more original, more creative movie. But I really love the atmosphere and the scenery and the suspense in Friday 13th. I think it is kind of the weakest of like the big four. Only because it's very derivative of Halloween. It's not very original. However, the Friday 13th series, the franchise as a whole, we'll get to in a minute because that's actually my favorite.
Yeah.
I'll elaborate more on that when we get to it because I think we lost Bronco.
Yeah, where'd he go?
He lost connection.
Yeah, I'd say Child's Play is the weakest, even though I do enjoy them. I just don't feel on the same level as like Halloween. Like even the first one, it's great, but
Yeah.
it's not on the level of like Halloween or
I think the Child's Play. I think the Child's Play franchise I like better than the Chainsaw and Nightmare on Elm Street franchises overall, probably. But as for the original, yeah, I think I like the other two better. Just by a little bit. They're all very close. They're all very close.
Why am I hearing like feedback? Does somebody have the volume on the?
I'm sorry.
Do you have the volume on your phone?
I just turned it down. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, I've got the thing
okay.
Disabled.
We found the culprit.
I was having some technical difficulties and it completely kicked me out of the chat. So I had to restart. So I'm trying to get on my phone at the same time. Yeah, sorry about that. What did I miss? I'm sorry. I really apologize.
We were just ranking the original movies and in the big five. We were ranking the originals from best to worst.
The franchises or the original?
The original films, like the first movie of each franchise.
Right.
Okay. Whose turn is it?
Yours.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Hopefully it won't do that again. I didn't know if you guys were there or not. It was just frozen on your face.
It'll probably happen to me here eventually too, so don't feel bad.
Okay, so number 5. It did it. Number 5 for me, the worst one, and I don't mean worst as in it's a bad film. Just my number 5 is Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
I figured.
And then Friday the 13th, and then Child's Play, and then Nightmare on Elm Street, and then Halloween.
I can see that.
Halloween. I love Child's Play too. Child's Play.
Me too. It was really hard for me to rank that last because I don't know. I kind of, in a way, I kind of think it's better than Friday 13th and even Nightmare on Elm Street in some ways. This really depends on what I'm in the mood for. They're so different from each other, so it's really, really, really hard to rank them. But I think in terms of like effectiveness, yeah, I don't even know. It's way too difficult to really do it justice. But my ranking will probably change tomorrow.
I would have to say, like Bronco said earlier, Child's Play might be the most consistent one with the least amount of crappy ones.
Franchise? Oh, I agree wholeheartedly. Yeah, because the weakest ones are probably Child's Play 3 and Seed of Chucky, but I still like them. I don't think Child's Play has a Halloween Resurrection or a Freddy's
Yeah.
Dead or a Texas Chainsaw Massacre Next Generation. It just doesn't. None of them, you know. There's weaker entries and there's ones that are better, but there's not one that's complete crap in my opinion. A lot of people would say See a Chucky is, but I don't think so. So just my
I'm
two
on the
cents.
edge on that one.
Yeah.
On the
Well, it's
edge
definitely the
of Eat It,
weakest
Chucky,
in my
I don't
opinion.
know.
But it's not a horror movie, that's for sure. But you know,
It's like totally comedy.
comedy. Yeah, and some people consider that as a bad thing, but to me, it's a great comedy. It's hilarious, and that's exactly what it wants to be. It wants to be a comedy, and I think it does well at what it wants to be. It never claimed. If it claimed to be the scariest Child's Play movie and it's a straight up horror movie, and then it was that, then yeah, I'd be disappointed. But to me, it was always presented as a comedy and nothing else. So, but again, I can see where people think that's a bad thing. I can definitely understand that.
In a way, I
Yeah.
mean, you know, comedy was part of it from the beginning. You know, you're dealing with a killer doll, and
Yeah.
there's always been comedy has always been a major part of Child's Play, I think.
Exactly. It was already funny from the beginning. Chucky was always kind of a funny character. And the thing is, he's more human. He started out as a human. Of course, he's going to have a sense of humor and, you know, have personality traits. He's not just an emotionless, you know, force like Michael Myers. You know, he has a personality. He's a wild, hot-headed sadist. He's not a cold, calculating, emotionless killer. He's an angry, rebellious hothead with a rage problem, a bad temper. So I mean, you know, of course, it's gonna be kind of funny.
Exactly. Did we lose him again?
Bronco. Yeah, but I think he's back. I figured it would be me that was having all the technical problems. I figured I'd be the one that was
Hey, you're actually
losing
doing
out.
pretty good this time.
Yeah, surprisingly.
Back again.
I don't know what I'd do differently.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yep, I can hear you now.
Yeah, you're good.
It keeps freezing. I was like, hello.
Yeah, you're freezing up a little
I'm
bit.
sorry. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure what's going on.
Yeah.
I am trying this on a brand new webcam.
These type of issues are pretty much to be
All right.
expected.
So, okay, so Jesse the Slasher asked in the chat room, thoughts on the Child's Play reboot coming up?
It doesn't exist. I'm pretending it never I'm pretending it's not going to happen. I'm not going to acknowledge it at all.
Same way.
Yeah, I just don't care.
I'm waiting for it to go to the value bin at Walmart, which I
Yeah, the
predict
$5
will be
bin
there
at
within
Walmart and then be forgotten. That's
Yeah.
it will be. That's my prediction.
It's just a soulless
It'll
cash in.
probably
There's
be
no
out
passion
this
behind the
year.
project. It's just there to make money and nothing else. There's nothing. It's just a manufactured product. There's no heart behind it. It's just there to make a quick buck. So screw it. Let them
Absolutely.
make their quick buck and then just forget about it.
You know what I just find it similar to is, you guys familiar with the James Bond series?
Love the James Bond movies. I have every single one of them. I'm a huge Bond fan.
So you remember how, like, the people who created the franchise split up, and one guy had the rights to the Thunderball, and then
I mean, Albert
to make a
Broccoli,
remake of it. Yeah.
Broccoli and Saltzman.
Right.
Never
and
say
then,
never. Yeah, never.
that's when they ended up coming up with Never Say Never. It's a similar situation.
Kind of, yeah. And that movie wasn't very good either, so.
It's like they just do it just because they can.
Yeah, pretty much.
Not because they care about it.
Exactly, yeah. There's no passion behind the product. It's like the Nightmare on Elm Street remake and the Poltergeist remake. They just did it for a soulish cash-in.
Yeah. It's a shame.
There's no passion behind it. They just had a checklist and just, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Like
And then I
remake.
saw somebody posted on Facebook, I think, that there's new dolls based on the new Child's Play remake called the Buddy Doll or something. And it looks so cheesy.
Yeah.
It looks horrible.
All right, guys. I'm sorry. I'm back again.
He's back again.
I switched to my phone. Hopefully it won't do it again this time. I'll figure that
You
out
seem to be a
later.
lot more. You seem to be a lot more clear now. It was freezing a lot earlier, but he seems to have a much better feed.
Yeah, I switched to
I say
my.
definitely stay with what you're doing.
I switched to my phone. I'll try to figure all the other out later.
Yeah, I'd say definitely
I
stay
see
with
your
the phone
wife
there.
there.
Yeah, say hi, dear. They say
Hi.
Hello.
hi.
Mine's upstairs. She didn't want to come down for this, so you know.
Somebody in the chat mentioned there's a Night of the Living Dead sequel coming out.
Yeah, I'll probably see it. I don't know. George Romero's not doing it, so I'll still see it, but I'm not really gonna be expecting too much. They've tried that plenty of times before, and I don't know. What a confusing series! Like, there's only like 6 official films that Romero did. Then there's all these like spin-offs and wannabe sequels and remakes and movies that inspired it. In Italy, there's like probably 30 entries in the series that have nothing to do with each other. It just gives me a headache trying to keep track of it all.
Sounds
yeah,
like
remember they had
TCM.
like Night of the Living Dead
Yeah.
3D.
Yeah, with Sid Haig.
Yeah.
Sounds like Texas
that was-
Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah, except surprisingly much worse. Which is definitely a head scratcher.
I don't know. I
There
didn't
was
see anything
also,
after Day of the Dead. Or no, Day of the Dead. Land of the Dead. Land of the Dead was the last one I watched.
Survival of the Dead was. I didn't like Diary of the Dead, but I didn't really expect it to be on Dawn of the Dead level. So, thanks, JM. I'm trying to keep track of the chat best I can. I'm trying to kind of multitask here. But,
yeah, I was going
what's
to
the next
say.
I remember there was one.
I'm sorry,
called, Dawn of the was it Day of the Dead 2 Contagion?
Yeah, and that was crap. All those semi-sequels or spin-offs or whatever the hell they were pretty awful.
Hell yeah. Are you guys gonna do my top 10 horror franchise list?
Yeah, I'll
Yes,
get
I
to
am,
it.
Sean.
Lisa loves
I am
it.
going to do it. Yeah, I saw that. I'm going to watch hers here in a little bit, I guess.
Well, I already said the Leprechaun franchise, so nothing can compare to that. So I'm just going to say the Leprechaun franchise is #1 and nothing else comes close. So there you go. I'm done. Leprechaun franchise and nothing else matters.
Well, there's another one of those coming out too,
Yeah, and Warwick Davis isn't in it. He was the only reason to watch those movies to begin with. And they took away like the one. He wasn't the last one either, and the guy didn't even talk or have a personality. It was like, what's the point of even watching this shit? Then that was the only.
He's not even in
part
it.
that made it. No, that was the only thing that made it remotely watchable. And
Oh my god.
Well, the new one looks good, actually. At least the preview of it does.
Yeah.
It's not
It looks better than
Davis, but
Origins.
it looks. Yeah, it looks like they're going to the roots on it.
Yeah, it looks a lot better than
So-
Origins. I kind of wish Warwick Davis would come back. It's not like as important as Robert Englund with Freddy, but for that series, that was pretty much the only thing I had going for it. Because you could tell he had a lot of fun with the role. He had a blast. He was very fun to watch. He was
He was. It was funny.
It was kind of
I like
infectious. I think those movies are fun. They're stupid, but they're really fun.
They are fun.
But anyway, what's
So this Night of the Living.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
This Night of the Living Dead sequel, is this supposed to be like the new Halloween 2018 right after the original?
I guess so. It's good. Everybody for the original died. Spoiler alert, everybody in Night of the Living Dead dies, so I don't really know where they're going to go with that, but whatever. Have at it.
Have a blast.
Yeah, knock yourself out.
Andrew Bellina, that's my homie right there. He says that the Night of the Living Dead franchise is 10 times better than the TCM franchise.
As a franchise, yeah, you're
what do you
probably
think
right.
of that?
Night of the Living Dead and
The
Dawn of
franchise
Dead
for
alone
sure.
are probably better than every sequel in that series. Actually, they're definitely better than every sequel in that series. As for the original, that's a close one.
The sequels
I
definitely,
agree.
like you were just saying. Yeah, the sequels definitely, especially the original sequels, terrible.
Yeah.
The new sequels and the new prequel I really like, but the originals, ugh.
I actually did like the prequel a lot more than I thought it would. I don't know how I feel about Leatherface being a good-looking, normal guy who can talk and stuff, but other than that, I think it was an interesting like what-if scenario. I mean, it felt more like a prequel than Texas Chainsaw Massacre at the beginning, which just kind of rehashed the 2003 movie again. It didn't really add any origin to it. I don't know. Yeah, again, I don't know how I feel about him having a muzzle, and that's why he can't talk. But it was interesting. Yeah, I love seeing the original family again. You know, that was always my thing from the beginning. Is the original family was the best, and I always wanted to see more of them. So I appreciate it on that level.
No love for part 2, huh?
I love Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2. I don't care what anybody says. It's not on the level of the original. It's not a serious, suspenseful horror film. It's a horror comedy. It's a spoof. I love it. I totally love it. I don't care what anybody says. I love Bill Moseley. I love Dennis Hopper.
I love it.
It's a stupid movie, but it's so much fun. It's good, cheesy fun. I like it the same way I like Fright Night or Return of the Living Dead or Reanimator. It's like the same type of breed of horror movies.
That's a good point. It is kind of like Reanimator.
Yeah, it's like a spoof. It's not on the level of the original, and it doesn't try to be. It doesn't try to mimic the original at all. It gave us something different. They knew they couldn't mimic. They couldn't redo the original, and they didn't. So.
I was glad
that's exactly what I hate about it.
That's what most people hate about it. I know, but different strokes.
Hey, a lot of people love it too.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's very widely loved from what I understand. But I mean, how can you follow up a movie like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre with a spoof?
You can't.
It boggles my mind. I'm just like,
it was either that or they would have tried.
Toby Hooper's.
They would have tried to emulate the same style again, and it just would have felt like it felt like a lesser version. It would just felt like Texas Chainsaw Massacre light. It would just, I don't know. They couldn't capture that same magic again. Lightning doesn't strike twice, unfortunately. To me, I don't think Halloween ever really came close to the original either. None of the sequels came close. I know they kind of had the same tone and the same spirit, and I don't know. For the record, when I first saw Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, I hated it. But it's grown on me, and I appreciate it on a different level. Because I too was just looking for Texas Chainsaw Massacre redone yet again the same exact way. And then I started thinking about it more. I was like, well, if I want to do that, I'll just watch the original movie. But it's still a fair point. It's still a good case against it that it's a spoof. That is a good case against it, I'll admit. I agree, but
there's some seriously demented shit in there, like when when Leatherface cuts the dude's face off with a little.
Yeah, that was pretty dark and pretty disturbing, actually.
Andrew's got to go, guys. Say goodbye to Andrew. He's got to take off.
Oh, see you later, buddy. Sorry, it's hard to
Andrew.
Chat at the same time.
Oh, we got Last Venom
Later, man.
76 in the house.
Oh, what's up, Last Venom?
He's got that 100 subscriber thing going on.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, I need to do one for my 1,000 subscriber. I'm 7 away from having 1,000, so I need to do something special for that. I'm not sure what yet, but
wow, only 7 away.
What's going on, Eric?
Yes, that'll be pretty cool. Pretty excited about that, but no, what to do about it.
Hey guys, show Hellhound some support here. He's only got 7 more to go for 1,000.
Yeah, spread the word. Let's try to get it to 1K.
I know, man. This is like he's the superstar here. He's like the big time.
We're like
shucks.
Honored. We should be kissing the ground that he walks on.
We're just using this to piggyback off your success, bro. For real.
You're almost a big YouTuber.
Mm-hmm.
The big dogs.
Yeah, you're no longer a small YouTuber once you get them 6 subscribers.
Damn, I kind of like being a small YouTuber.
Right.
Well, you're out of it. You're out of the circle, man.
Damn, I'm out of the club. Well, shoot.
You're gonna have to start hanging out with Cody Leach and Drum Dums.
You might be on the Halloween stream one day.
Yeah.
Doesn't one of those guys like Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 better than the original or something? or is that somebody else?
Oh my
Not,
god.
not better than the original that I know of, but I do know that Drum Dums gives it a lot of love, which I find hilarious, seeing as how big of a
Yeah,
Halloween fan he is. But
maybe
he and
I
I have
won't
had that
appear on
conversation a
their
few times.
show. Just kidding. To each their own.
Yeah,
I mean, if that's your
we've
thing,
had that
you know,
conversation a few times.
yeah, I can imagine.
So guys, Last Venom 76 says my contest ends tomorrow. Good luck to the guys at Anchor. Thank you. And we got
Oh yeah,
and we
man.
got
Yep.
Dave Maggot in the house.
Just
Yo,
about
what's up,
to say that,
Dave?
Sean, that
How's it going,
everybody
man?
get entered into Venom's contest.
Yep.
If you haven't already
Yeah,
entered Venom's contest, guys, do it before tomorrow.
I think Dave Maggot's the top dog. I think he's the one that's that we should be kissing the ground or whatever you said, because shit, he's making movies and everything
Yeah.
else. He's doing all kinds of cool stuff.
Yeah.
I would
Good
love
point.
to make a horror movie. It's something I've talked about for years. I almost did the soundtrack on a horror movie, you know, with just like a low budget thing, but it never came to fruition. So that was the closest I ever came to working on an actual movie.
Bet Dave does
That's
that
cool,
too.
dude.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. Way to go, Dave.
So we should probably get back to the subject.
Yeah. Yeah, I was about to suggest that as well.
Yeah.
We
Got a
talked
little
about the best
sidetracked.
original. We talked about the best original, and we ranked all the films. How about who has the best villain?
Oh, that is tough.
How are we talking
Tough
about? Are we
one.
talking about like our favorite villain? Or are we talking about like, you know, who has the most entertaining villain? Because like villains themselves, you got to go with
Yeah,
somebody like Freddy
you're
or
right.
Chucky. They're flat out just entertaining, you know.
Well, we can look at it from all aspects. You know, we can say who's like technically the best, who's our personal favorite, who do we like watching the most, who's the scariest, who's the most evil. You know, we can talk about all that.
That's a good
I
way
mean,
to put it.
to me, I think when he's done properly, Michael Myers is the best. Like Michael Myers from the first two movies, probably part four, and even the newest movie, and hell, even part six. Like not the stuff going around him, but the Michael Myers, the character himself. When he's done properly, he's my favorite. However, I think Jason is the most consistent, like personality-wise. I feel like he's become a demonic body-jumping worm, and he's become a cyborg, and you know he's done a lot of weird stuff. But I think his personality has always mostly been intact. Like they've never really done anything. You know, he's never really changed his character around a lot. He hasn't become more human or more relatable. I mean, yeah, he became more unstoppable as the movies came on, and more intimidating, and more like a, you know, like a zombie Terminator like juggernaut. Yeah, but his personality and like his motivations have always kind of stayed the same. They didn't, and I feel like I'm less forgiving with Jason because I don't think he was as complex a character as Michael in the first place. I'm a little more forgiving to the Jason series in general because, in my opinion, they never. Friday 13th was never on the level of Halloween in the first place. So, you know, Halloween I have like more of a bit higher standard for. But when Michael's not done properly, Jason's my favorite. I think he's like so interesting because no matter what you do to him, he keeps coming. You can blow him to smithereens, you can shoot him, you can electrocute him, you can drown him, you can burn him, you can stab him. No matter what you do to him, he always comes back. You can dissolve him in toxic waste and make him into a cyborg in space and be burned up by the atmosphere, and he still keeps coming. Doesn't make sense. So interesting. They're definitely my top two. Jason and Michael are kind of always been my top two. They're kind of interchangeable, but when Michael Myers is done right, he's my favorite.
Bronco?
Michael is my favorite, but I really think like I said earlier, I really find Michael is my favorite. He's the most interesting character for me, and he's also the scariest character for me.
By far.
For me, he's the one that is 100% believable, at least in the original. You know what I mean? And he also is the most realistic out of all of them. But the most entertaining ones for me are Freddy and Chucky. They're just more fun. You have more fun with them. You get the one-liners, and you get the comebacks, and you get the jokes on people. But yet Michael does have a sense of humor, and that's something that I think is really funny. People have been bashing the new movie, saying, "Oh, it's got all this humor in it." Well, there was always humor in those movies. I mean, even coming from Michael, I mean, he dressed up as a ghost. You know?
Yeah. They ruined that scene in the Rob Zombie
He put
film.
on that the brute mask.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there's Michael has a sense of humor. Michael has a sense of liking to mess with people, you know.
You're right.
But Freddy, I really love Freddy and Chucky. I would have loved to see that movie. You know, a team up between those two, the demonic dream
100%.
demon and the voodoo doll. You know, I mean,
The comedians
I could just see them out trying to outdo each other. You know,
to out wisecrack each other. They'd be insulting each other the whole time. That'd be hilarious.
That'd be fun,
Yeah.
actually. Yeah, pretty fun. I like to see that.
I just want to touch on one thing real quick. Bronco, you said Michael Myers is the most realistic in the original film. I actually think Leatherface is the most realistic because that can actually happen, and it has happened. Ed Gein, the real life serial killer, is basically a slightly less exaggerated version of Leatherface. He was the inspiration, and I mean, it's possible that somebody could be a cannibal and a killer and wear human skin and have a demented family of hillbillies in the backwoods and kill people with a chainsaw. That could certainly happen. Maybe not whatever
Right.
the sequels have portrayed, but I think that, you know, in the first film, I think Leatherface was slightly more realistic than Michael. Michael was pretty
Yeah.
realistic too, up until he got shot 6 times and wandered away. But even then, like,
well,
it's
I mean,
possible.
you know, heck,
It's
man, I've seen
possible.
some weird things happen back. You know, like when I used to be in law enforcement, I watched a crackhead get shot 6 times or 7 times,
really?
and he still was walking. You know,
Oh wow.
I mean, I don't know
Okay.
how many times he got shot, but he was still coming. You know,
Touche.
it's a little crazy. You know,
Touche.
but
Fair enough. Fair
They
enough.
you know,
didn't 50
you're
Cent
hopped up on something, but oh god, yeah, but he probably just laid on the ground. I mean, you know, but there's some of these things. These guys when they're out on that stuff, like those guys on the bath salts, man. You seen that? They're getting
Yeah, that's
shot and they're still
crazy.
trying to eat your face off.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
you know,
crazy. Yeah, it took him forever to go down. I heard about
it's.
that.
But when I said that Michael's realistic, it's just he's just a guy who decided to go out and kill some people, which is what
Yeah.
I meant. It wasn't like a,
I know what
you
you
know,
mean.
it
I know
wasn't
what
like
you
a
mean.
supernatural story or anything like that. It was just he
I
just
agree.
decided to do it, you know.
Well, it kind of feels like with Michael too. It's kind of like he's nowhere but everywhere at once. He's kind of a super. There's nothing in the movie to really like contradict that he's not a real person. But the setup, like the fact that he's unrelatable, has no conscience, he's emotionless. He's like this shape, like this force. Um, but again, that can happen. There can be somebody who's like catatonic, and you know they can just feel nothing and still kill. I mean, that's certainly possible. But I just meant like Leatherface actually has happened with Ed Gein. So, and Leatherface is very human. He kind of gets his ass kicked a lot, and he uh, gets pummeled by his older brothers, and they kind of force him to do their will. And you know, he's a little more. You know, he feels pain. You know, he's a little more. Um, more like a realistic serial killer that you hear about, but no, I agree. What's that?
Dave
I
Maggot
think,
says that he's looking for a second writer for Groundhog 2. So
Nice.
everybody go out there and send your ideas and scripts
Yeah.
into Dave.
I write horror stories all the time. I'm always writing something: screenplays, unfinished scripts,
really?
unfinished novels. I'm always constantly writing something. Like I always write scary stuff. Like I'm always doing it. I've got so much writing on my computer, it's ridiculous. Like
Wow.
Let's just
whole
inundate
library worth of
Dave with
writing.
emails.
I
Yeah.
wrote a script once.
Just
Guess what it
just
was?
swarm him.
What?
Halloween 3.
Nice. Yeah, I haven't written many fan like scripts. I usually do my own ideas, but it's something I've thought about. But anyway, Sean, I'm sorry. What is your favorite villain out of the 5 and your ranking?
So mine's gonna be Michael Myers as well.
Oh yeah.
Yes, of course. I think Freddy is the most entertaining of the bunch.
Yeah.
But
I
I
think
feel
everybody
like
will agree with
Michael's the
that.
scariest, like you said, when he's done right. Not like Resurrection or H2O when he wasn't very intimidating. But I think he's the scariest, and out of all of them, he's the one that has that aura of mystery about him, and that aura of maybe he is supernatural, or is he? You know, and that I love that mystery about him.
Me too.
And a lot of it is the camera ways coming out of the shadows and the light reflecting off the mask and he does have a weird playful sense too, like you mentioned earlier, where he put the ghost, the sheets over his head, And there's a part in Halloween 2 when he messes with the girl and puts his hand on her shoulder before he dunks her in the hot tub, things like that. He
Mask
has
in
a
part
character
5.
about him, And obviously, the funniest.
Even this new one, you see it in this. You even see it in this new movie when he drops the teeth over the top of the door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Likes to
mean,
taunt
there's
his
like,
victims. And the jack-o'-lantern, he
you
cut the
know,
guy's
or when
head
he,
into a jack-o'-lantern.
Yeah.
I mean, and like you were saying, when you said Michael's done right, when he's done right, he's just amazingly brutal. Like, I love Part 6. Part 6 is one of my favorite films. It's my second favorite film in the franchise. And it's because of Michael, and it's because of how George P. Wilbur plays him.
Yeah.
It's because he's just so brutal and so insane in that one. It's just amazing.
Well,
And it wasn't like, okay, he's real brutal in the Rob Zombie movies, but Rob Zombie was going out of his way to make the films that way.
Right.
Right.
He, he wanted to be more brutal just to be more brutal.
For the sake
To,
of
to say that he's more than the others, but it always came off as forced to me. Rob Zombie's came off as forced,
loud.
I know there's a lot of fans of him out there. I'm not trying to. I already did 2 videos bashing them. I won't keep bashing them, but
I will, however.
I just.
I'm okay.
Yeah,
with that.
okay, I will. All right, I will, but I'm not. I'm gonna try and be nicer about it.
Yeah, I agree.
Lord knows
I
I
meant,
don't
I was
think
actually
I'm
referring
talking
to Rob
shit.
Zombie's. I was actually referring to Rob Zombie's movies, and I was saying when Michael Myers is done properly. I meant versus Rob Zombie's movies, where he was made more human and even like somewhat sympathetic and relatable, and they're trash. To put it bluntly.
Yeah,
You know what bothers
and
me?
that's
The thing about them is
go ahead, Sean.
the fact that they gave him mommy issues.
Yeah, exactly. Like that would
Oh,
feel.
God.
It's like that's fine for Jason. That's fine for Jason or Leatherface, but not Myers.
Yeah, I said that in my Halloween 2, Rob Zombie Halloween 2 review. It's like they were confusing the storyline with Friday the 13th.
Yeah. Drives me nuts.
I agree.
Yeah, to say
everybody, Jason's taking off, guys. So everybody say goodbye to Jason.
Yeah, I told him.
Night, Jason.
Yeah. What's up, cool boys?
Yeah,
sorry, I'm a little behind with the chat because I'm trying to conversate
cool
at the same time. Yeah, let me just put my phone beside the. That's not obscuring my audio, is it?
No, you're good.
So I was gonna say the same thing you were, Hellhound, about Texas Chainsaw being the most realistic character because he is based on a real life serial killer.
Yeah, I feel like that one's
and he's pretty damn sick. I'd say Leatherface is the most demented out of any of them too.
He's a cannibal, a grave robber, wears dead skin. Yeah, I mean, he's like every bad thing you can be. He's not just a killer. He doesn't stop there. He eats them and wears their skin and just
He's a sick son of a bitch.
The big time.
So what's the next topic?
Well, we did the best original movie, the best villain. I guess, how about best, which one has the best remake?
Oh, come on, really?
I'm going to say Friday the 13th. I'm going to say Friday the 13th is the best.
Yeah,
I'm going to go ahead and say Friday the 13th because I feel like there was nothing in that movie that was really insulting. The only thing I don't like about it is just the fact that it's a remake. It starts all over, and we don't see the Jason that's been shot and stabbed and burned and gone through all that stuff. We start fresh. We start all over with a brand new Jason. And other than that, I think it's great. I think it feels more like a sequel than a remake. I feel like it fits right into the Jason character. Yeah, he kidnaps a girl. That's kind of out of character, but I don't feel like that really bothered. That doesn't bother me too much. Second best to me would be the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2003. The only thing I didn't like about that is I thought that aside from Leatherface and Arlie Ermy, the other family members were annoying as hell. I couldn't stand them. We have a big fat woman saying, "Oh my," and then a ugly inbred woman looks like a man's talking about that boy keeps to himself. He doesn't harm anybody when he's killing people with a chainsaw and wearing their freaking faces as masks, and then annoying bucktooth kid that says, "Please don't hurt me." And I hated all that. I wanted to see the original brothers, the trio of brothers and their grandpa.
Yeah.
That could have been updated to be even more scary and more brutal than it was in the original. They could have had those same family members. Arlie Ermy was great, though. I loved him. The next for me, oddly enough, will be Halloween because, and the only reason I rank Halloween over Nightmare on Elm Street for the remakes is because Rob Zombie, I can tell he did have kind of a passion for Halloween. He did have a vision. It was a very misguided vision and a very generic one, but he did have a passion, whereas the Nightmare on Elm Street remake was just a soulless cash-in. It was like the Poltergeist remake. They just had a checklist and said, okay, we got to have Freddy coming through the wall. Okay, check. Oh, we got to have the girl in the body bag dragged through the hall. Check. Really half-assed, I might add. Oh, he's got to do the thing with the phone. He's got to say, I'm your boyfriend now. Check. Okay, we did it. Yay. We made our money. They didn't have any passion. There's no heart to it. It was just made for a quick buck. There's nothing into it. Whereas the Halloween movies, the Rob Zombie ones, in my opinion, are terrible. But at least he did actually have a vision, and he didn't just do it for money. He did have like a passion for it. Albeit, again, it was a very misguided one. So that's and the Child's Play remake hasn't come out yet. I'm probably not going to see it, so I can't elaborate on that. But from what I've seen so far, it looks terrible. But that's the only reason I rank the Halloween Rob Zombie version over the Nightmare on Elm Street remake. I think Jackie Earle Haley did a good job considering. He's no Robert Englund, but he was okay. The rest of the cast, totally forgettable. Completely forgettable. Except maybe Clancy Brown.
Hey,
Anyway,
Eric, we'll talk to you later, brother.
Say what?
Eric's leaving. We'll talk to you later, bro. Have a good time at work.
Oh, yeah.
I
See you
guess.
later, man.
See you later. See you later, Eric. So Bronco, what are your thoughts on that? What is your ranking of the remakes?
Oh, I can't. All right. Yes, I agree. Friday the 13th is the best one. I absolutely love that movie. And spoilers, if you haven't seen my actual Friday the 13th ranking, it is my number 2 film in the franchise. I love that remake. I think it's absolutely amazing. And I love the Texas Chainsaw remake. I like it more than the original film. I like that family better. I know Hellhound you don't. I can see you rolling your eyes at me already. But I like them better. And I love, and it is Arlie Ermy. That's what I love about him.
He was great. I love Arlie Ermy. He was awesome. He was
but that's definitely the second best one. I'm actually going to rank the Child's Play remake as the dead last one.
Even though it hasn't come out yet.
It hasn't come out yet, and I have like no desire to see it.
It's already the worst.
When Rob Zombie made the Halloween remake, I was excited to see it. I wanted to see it. I loved Rob Zombie. I loved House of a Thousand Corpses. I thought it was a great film. I wanted to see this movie. I wanted to see what he would do with it. But then he made it just like all his other movies, and I was like, okay, this is shit.
Yeah.
But I do have to agree with Hellhound that, okay, as I said in my review, if you cut it right where Michael escapes, take out everything from before, and take out all of Laurie's lines after,
yeah,
it's a good movie. I mean, it's a good movie from that.
That's a lot from that.
So exactly, but it's still. I mean, once Michael gets going, it's a good film. Once Michael gets started, it's a good film. But but like you said, with the Nightmare on Elm Street film, I liked Jackie Earle Haley as Freddy. That's one thing I did kind of like. No, he's no Robert Englund. Nobody will be. But if you have to get somebody else to play him, they could have done worse.
Exactly.
I don't like that they use CGI on his face, and I felt it really hampered his performance. You couldn't really tell a lot of the stuff he was trying to do. And then also,
expressive like England.
I talk about this in my reviews too of the remake for that movie. They put things in that movie just because they're Freddy Krueger movies. Okay, Freddy has the glove in the remake. Why? In the remake storyline, he didn't kill any children. He just molested them. Why does he even have the glove?
Well, there was the
why is there a
photograph where
boiler
she had
room?
the scratches. She had like the cuts on her back that came from the glove, but I don't know.
I don't think they never said that came. They never said that actually came. You know, they never said it actually came from the glove. The boiler room. Why is there a boiler room in all the people's dreams when there was no boiler room in the film? He didn't get killed in the boiler room.
This time, wasn't he?
Yeah. And he was chased to some like industrial complex where he was killed at an electrical room, not a boiler room. So why is the boiler room even there? You know, it's just like like you said, okay, we got to have him do this, check. We got to have him do that, check. We got to have him do this, check. And when they did do those things, they didn't do it well, like the wall scene coming through the wall.
It looked terrible.
So good in the originals.
Yeah,
oh, I know. It was so stupid looking. You know, it was just absolutely terrible. And yeah, dude, I just go ahead, Sean.
Yeah, but you have to have the glove. Can you imagine if he didn't have the glove in the movie? Who would care, you know?
Well, I get that. I get that they have to have it. That's what I'm saying. They did it because they have to have it, but they didn't explain it. They didn't give it a reason. They changed his story, and it took out the reason for it. And I didn't even notice that until like the 15th time I watched the movie. I was like, wait a minute. What the heck? You know? And it also bugs me because the more I watched that movie, the more I disliked it. When I first saw it in theaters, I was like, okay, it wasn't bad, but there was something nagging at the back of my brain. You know, something was there. I was like, yeah, the special effects could have been better, whatever. But something was nagging at me. And then as I watched it more and more, I figured out what it was. And now I just kind of, except for that when I did review it, I just kind of refuse to watch it now. Also, the girl that plays Nancy, same girl from the girl with the dragon tattoo, right?
Yeah.
She was terrible. She phoned that in. She so phoned in that performance.
And she can be a good actress. I don't know what the deal was here. Like she is a
good actress. That's what I don't get.
I don't know why she was so bad in that.
No.
Was so bad in that.
Probably cashing a paycheck.
Yeah. Hey Eric, hey Internet Eric here said that the boiler room was where he was burned. I don't remember. I was only able to sit through that thing once in the theater. I don't remember about it. I just remember I hated it.
Eric, I'm sorry, bro. I know you and I disagree all the time, but go watch it again. It's not a boiler room. He's in an electrical room when he gets burned. It's not a boiler room. And they never did anything with the glove. All they showed was that one picture where she had some scratches that could have came from anything. It didn't explain why he needed the glove. He wasn't a killer. Even though he died that way, what would make him so scary to come back, you know?
And why didn't any of the kids remember that? Like, they didn't remember going to preschool together. I mean, maybe I just have a way better memory than most people. I'm not trying to sound arrogant. I remember pretty much everybody I went to preschool and kindergarten with. If I saw them at the grocery store today, I'd be like, oh, hey, you know, I'd recognize them. And especially if something like that happened to me and my friends, I would definitely remember it. I mean, that's not the type of thing you forget. I don't care how old you are. Like, that's something that's going to stay with you.
Well, didn't they have like 5 writers on that movie?
We're looking too much into it.
Hey, that's okay. We can do that.
Fair enough.
That's why we're horror.
That's what we're here for. That's what we're here for. That's what we do. Video. We're going to analyze things. We're the Blood Spattered Trio. That's our job.
Yeah.
But about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake, Andrew Broniarski was a great Leatherface. Possibly the best next to Gunnar Hansen, in my opinion. Arlie Ermey was great. I just thought like the original felt like a real crime caught on film. It was like a documentary. It was something that had never been done before. Whereas the 2003 Chainsaw Massacre, it just felt like every other movie that was coming out then. It felt like every other horror movie. It was something I'd seen a bunch of times before. The original Chainsaw Massacre, when it came out, it was so effective and so ahead of its time. That predated Halloween, for God's sake. And that's what I consider the godfather of horror movies. And they even had some influence in that movie. So to me, the original was just like, it was one of a kind. And the remake was just kind of, it was good, but it was just kind of more generic. And it had like this dark, cold, wet feel, for lack of a better way to describe. The original had this dry, hot feel. Like it really worked so well for the story they were trying to tell. So that's just my personal reason for preferring the original. But I can certainly see the remake is definitely more entertaining, and I think the acting from the protagonists, from the victims, is way better than it was in the original. Jessica Biel is obviously a better actress than Marilyn Burns. But I do think that a damsel in distress and seeing her being tortured throughout the movie is scarier than seeing a badass, tough as nails heroine who fights back. I don't think it's a better character. I just think it's more scary when it's a girl who doesn't look like she can defend herself and gets terrorized through the whole movie, as opposed to a girl who fights back. And again, I like that character better, but I think it's scarier when done the other way. Just my 2 cents.
And I think it is as well. That's why I like it so much. And I know this is a huge blasphemy for people, but I thought that I'm gonna so mess up his name, Andrew
Bryanarski, yeah.
However you say it, I thought he was a better Leatherface than Gunnar Hansen. I liked his performance. I liked that giant, scary guy, and Gunnar was more the kind of like quirky kind of oddball kind of, doing the dance in the middle of the road, and I loved it.
Yeah.
I want to be scared when I watch horror. I really want to be really scared. And
well, I feel like Gunnar Hansen created that role, though. He kind of made it his own. Bryanarski was just kind of doing what Gunnar did, and he had a lot more years to expand on that character. He had the advantage of looking back at a past performance. It's like, it'd be like maybe comparing Michael Keaton as Batman to Adam West. He had more time to. That's not really a good analogy, but it's the first thing I can think of. Something like that. So, Bryanarski might have had more material and had more time to. By the way, he played Christopher Walken character Max Schreck. He played his son on Batman Returns. Fun fact.
Wait a minute, say that Max Schreck in Batman Returns. Say what?
Bryanarski played the son of Christopher Walken's character in Batman Returns. I don't know. My head is full of useless knowledge. So I just figured I'd throw
No
it
shit.
All right, so Sean, what's your ranking of all the remakes? Sorry for rambling. I
So,
didn't do that when talking about horror.
guys, this might surprise you, but I would pick Texas Chainsaw Massacre as the best of them. I thought it was, like you said, very entertaining. It was well made. Yeah, it is definitely like typical modern horror, but I thought it was entertaining. I thought the performances were good. I liked Jessica Biel's character a lot. Leatherface was really well done. Love Arlie Ermey's performance. He's awesome. Yeah, I don't find it any way near the original in my mind, in my opinion, but I think out of the bunch, it's probably my favorite overall. I do like the Friday the 13th remake, but the main thing I like about it is Jason. I thought they did Jason real well.
Derek
His
Mears is my
character was
favorite.
great, and Derek Mears was excellent as Jason. I like that he was like a survivalist, and he had built the underground layer, and he seemed a lot smarter than the others, like a real guy, not like some monster, some zombie. But outside of that, I really didn't like the characters, like the teenage kids. I really didn't like their characters at all. Like, especially that guy that was like a real dickhead. What was the blonde guy's name?
Oh, fuck! I just forgot. Trent.
You can't remember them.
I loved just watching him die though, and I loved how brutal his death was.
It definitely played
And
up
I didn't like
more. I'm
I
very
didn't
of the
like
mind that less is more when it comes to those movies. Like
Well,
Rob
that's
Zombie's
silliness.
exploitative, trashy style would feel more at home with a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie, even a Friday the 13th movie. Hell, in my opinion, take House of 1,000 Corpses, put Leatherface in there, and it's already a better movie than the 2003 remake. And there you go. There's your Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake.
Yeah,
Rob Zombie just wasn't cut out for a Halloween movie.
Would be the perfect guy to do Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Halloween's a little more classy and sophisticated. It's not about the gore and the kills. It's about the scares and the suspense. Something Rob Zombie, that's not really his strong point.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we all saw that in Lords of Salem.
Wild.
Yeah, big time.
like that music video kind of style, just throwing stuff at your face, you know.
It's very loud. They're very
Like,
loud and very,
very
like
chaotic.
spelled out. Yeah. Over the top
Yeah.
vulgarity and profanity and people talking like 14-year-olds in school, and it'd be fine. Like in Devil's Rejects and House of Thousand Corpses, you know, Sid Haig's character, Captain Spaulding, he talked like that, and that was fine. That was his character. But the
Yeah.
Halloween movies, everybody talked about like that. Even Laurie Strode. It was just ridiculous. It's like, my
Exactly.
gosh.
It's fine if one character talks.
Yeah,
like that,
but not
every
all of
character
them.
in the movie,
Right.
What the?
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
Malcolm
How many
McDowell was a
people do
pretty
you
good
know
Loomis,
talk
though.
like that?
Yeah.
Do you
hardly
ever
any.
see an old
And that was my-
person talk like that?
Yeah.
Like, come on.
All the profanity and the graphic, you know, just I don't know anybody who talks like that, honestly. Like,
I mean, I cuss a lot, but I ain't
So-
like that. You know, I mean,
yeah.
Mm.
you know, but
Yeah, the old-
and that's what
yeah,
really
it's a-
bothers me about something that really bothers me about those films was when Michael Myers is your best moral character in the entire film. That's a problem.
You got
Yeah.
problems.
The
Yeah,
killer
you're kinda
shouldn't
rooting
be
for
the
him in
best
that
person
movie.
in the film. Everybody he killed was worse
Yeah.
than he was.
Yeah, they're all bad people. I didn't feel a thing for them. It was weird because,
was like
like in the original, I feel like Jamie Lee Curtis was such a great actress, and PJ Souls and Nancy Loomis, they weren't all that great. But in the remake, I feel like Scout Taylor Compton's Laurie wasn't really very good, and her two friends, which of course one was Danielle Harris, who was great, and then the other one,
Yeah.
whoever played Linda, I forget her name. I feel like they were better than Compton. That was kind of a big problem for me.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to act like all the acting in the original Halloween was all that great outside of Jamie Lee Curtis and of course Donald Pleasance, but some of her friends, you know, the other teenagers were kind of, you know, their dialogue was kind of crappy. Not that that takes anything away from the film at all, which is still a perfect 10 out of 10 solid masterpiece of perfection. But you know,
I liked their dialogue in the original. It was written by Deborah Hill because they wanted people to have realistic dialogue for teenage girls of the era. And Deborah Hill was just a couple years older than they were. And I thought it was very realistic to that era. Even the totally part, where she says totally all the time.
yeah.
That was put in there because girls
Right.
of that time, there was
You're right.
girls like that said things like that.
Yeah.
Well, I
You
always
know,
just remember the
exactly.
scene where she talks about books, like forgetting her books, be like, oh, let's see, which books did I forget? Let's see, my math book, history book. Who has time for books anyway? And like, it just seems like
Almost.
such a thing that, like,
We're gonna
such
be under
a
maybe 20,
movie
30
line that
minutes.
nobody ever said. I think it's funny, and I'm glad it's there. I wouldn't
No,
change
go
it for the
ahead.
world.
I'll get mine in
but,
a minute.
you know, I just always that scene always stands out for me as being kind of cringy.
Do it just like you would with spaghetti.
Hey, jerk. Speed kills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, getting back to that. So my next choice would be the Rob Zombie's Halloween.
Really?
I do like some things in it. It's not totally crap fest for me. There are things I like about it. I like
Malcolm
the
McDowell.
violence. I like Michael Myers. I thought Tyler did a solid job, and yeah, he was really intimidating. Look at the size of him, and that made him seem more realistic. That he could do the things that he does because he's so big and monstrous, and so brutal. Because look at the size of him. He looks like a monster, you know. It's a different kind of Michael Myers, but
Well, to me, Michael
like
Myers
the-
is scary because I feel like he could blend in. If he took his mask off, he could like blend into a crowd and he could kind of infiltrate. Jason and Leatherface are the big guys. They're the big, muscular, deformed, hulking brutes. And Michael Myers to me was always kind of more like ordinary looking. So if he took his mask off, like he could just get away, and that made him scarier to me. So I didn't really like the casting of Tyler Mane. He did an okay job, but I thought he was too tall and too built to be Michael Myers. But I see what you're saying. He was certainly intimidating. You know, he wasn't as creepy. Michael Myers should be
Yeah, but
creepy,
it's-
not.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's a different vision.
I thought Tyler Mane did a good. I thought Tyler Mane did a good job in the first film. In the second film, I didn't, but in the first one, he did.
didn't
But
like
I
anything
think
about
that
the
was
second
more
film.
because I didn't like the right. Yeah, it was because of the way the directing and writing of the second film was that did that for me. But one thing I do want to know, and I've been curious about, and I didn't think to talk about this during my review, was how did he get that big?
Yeah, I know.
All he
What
did
were
was
they
sit on and
feeding
make
him?
those masks. He wasn't out in the weight room as far as from what we were told in the movie.
Did they have
How
a
did he
gym
get so
in that
freaking
asylum?
Yeah, but we missed 15 years, you know.
Yeah, he must have been doing push-ups every day, like or something. And man,
Probably.
I don't know what they were feeding him.
He had Hulk Hogan come in and be his personal trainer, or what?
I think
Yeah.
so. I think so. Hey, who knows? We didn't see the 15 years like you said, so maybe that did happen. I don't know.
Definitely, the next worst would be Nightmare for me as well.
Yeah.
I didn't care for it at all, but I think that Jack Earl Haley did pretty good with what he had to work with. Like you said,
Considering.
Bronco, the makeup job and the CGI in his face. I mean, he had little to work with, you know. That really put a damper on his performance.
Big time.
And yeah, I feel like they put too much stuff in there from the original. Like you said, they did the bathtub scene with the claw coming out of the bathtub
Half-assed
there.
versions too, to boot.
Yeah, half-assed versions. Yeah.
See,
Some of the
Halloween
lines
did that
even
too,
is
but
so
they actually did
strong,
it pretty well.
like
surprisingly.
like how's this for a wet dream?
Yeah.
Took that from part 4.
Part 4,
I
yeah, with
get they were
Joey, the
trying to go
waterbed.
menacing and scary, but I get they were trying to make Freddy more scary again, make him more menacing again. But like you said,
Yeah.
Freddy in the original, Robert Englund, the one-liners that Freddy used in the first movie were scary. They were menacing, but they also were delivered extremely well, and they came off really well. In this one, they weren't
Yeah.
very good. They weren't well written in the first place. They weren't very good lines,
Right.
and it just it just didn't. It seemed forced. It didn't seem natural.
That's
Yeah,
the
original
writing.
seemed more cruel and mocking, like they were taunts instead of like
No.
a stand-up comedian just reciting, jokes.
Yeah.
The best line in that is probably where he says, he's talking about the human brain or whatever, and he's like, "We got 6 minutes left," or whatever he says.
Yeah.
And that's probably the best line in the whole movie. I mean,
Yeah.
so
I agree.
Yeah, so, and then Child's Play, of course, hasn't come out yet. But I don't.
none
hold
of
out
us
much
want
hope.
that remake, so that's why it's the worst.
Nobody wants it. Nobody asked for it.
How do you make a remake?
Because the series is still going strong. Like with some of the other
Exactly.
remakes, yeah,
Who
the
asked
franchise
for
had run out of steam for some of the other ones, but in this one, the series is still going strong. Hell, everybody loved Curse of Chucky and Cult of Chucky. They were very well received. So that's why it's like, why make
Yeah.
a remake now when the sequels are doing just fine? Like with some of the other ones, again, like maybe the franchise was like we had Halloween Resurrection. So I mean, I can understand them wanting to start over from that point. But not with the Child's Play franchise. They're still doing good. So
The only thing is, they didn't come out in the theater.
yeah, that's
So
my
now-
only complaint. I wish they would have. They would have been more widely known.
I think they would have done well in theaters if they would have put it out there and did some good promotion behind them.
For sure. Some people don't even know that there was a Child's Play movie after Seed of Chucky because of that. Some people don't even know about Curse.
Exactly.
I mean, horror fans do, of course, but
Didn't come
the
out.
average moviegoer might not.
And that's something else too. As much as I love the Halloween franchise and the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise, the Child's Play franchise is probably the most consistent when it comes to good films.
Yeah,
It's got one bad film, in my opinion. Now, some people didn't like some of the others, but in my opinion, it's got one bad film.
Seed.
And even that film is watchable to me at times.
Yeah, it's no Halloween. It's not like Halloween Resurrection or Freddy's Dead or Chainsaw Massacre the Next Generation by any means.
Right.
There's some good comedy. Same with
Friday the 13th. In my opinion, Friday the 13th doesn't have a terrible film. It's got some that are weaker. Everybody hates Part 5 and 8. I love those films. I think they're entertaining. A lot of people hate Jason Goes to Hell and Jason X, but I find a lot of positive aspects in those movies too. I don't think any of them are downright terrible. Like it doesn't have a
Jason Goes to Hell is terrible.
Well, yeah, but
Jason Goes to Hell is terrible.
But there's a lot of redeeming qualities. It has the best gore.
No, there's
series.
not.
It has the best gore, the best kills. Really cool looking. Jason.
I would say that the
actual good.
I'd say the
acting.
remake does, and Jason X.
Yeah,
And
well, Jason
Jason
Goes to
Goes to
Hell
Hell.
is definitely probably the worst film, but like I hated it for years, but it's grown on me. Certain things about it have grown on me. I'm not saying the whole movie's good front to back. I'm saying there are good things about it. The scene where the girl gets decapitated in the tent, that was one of the coolest things I've ever seen. Like in their unrated version, that was awesome. I like how it wasn't just a group of counselors at a camp yet again for the 100th time. I like that they actually had other settings like the diner, the scene in the cop station. We've never seen Jason clean house like that before. Yeah, it would have been better if it was the actual Jason, not
Except,
jumping
yeah,
from
I was
body
gonna
to
say it
body.
wasn't Jason though.
True, yeah, it would have been awesome though. If it was Jason, I bet that would have been one of the if it was him through the whole film, I bet that would have been one of the better received entries. And he had such a cool look too. It's really a shame that they did have to go with the body hopping thing, the mystical dagger, and the fact they had a long lost sister and all this other stupid shit.
I didn't mind.
Why
that?
did they try to?
Yeah.
Why did they try to connect it to the Evil Dead universe? I just don't get it.
Yeah, and they never did a Freddy versus Jason versus Ash film, so it was all for nothing. Like if they'd done that, it'd been worth it, but they never did.
If they had done that, it would have made sense.
Yeah,
Comics were good.
Yeah, I've got a bunch of them, but I would love to see a movie. You can't, like seeing Bruce Campbell in a movie is, is reading about somebody who looks like, a drawing of Bruce Campbell in the pages of a comic isn't quite the same as seeing him in an actual movie. Unfortunately, it's a only substitution we have, but it'll never be quite as effective.
Well, unfortunately, it hasn't. I don't think it's going to happen, especially with Bruce Campbell retiring Ash, like he said. But I don't know if did you guys hear that Heather Langenkamp said the other day that she wants to do another Nightmare on Elm Street?
I did hear.
And I think Robert said that he would do one as well.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Man, I'm all for that.
I've heard that before.
And then
I've
also,
heard it before, like 10 years ago. It never happened.
Sean, I think you talked about this the other day in one of your videos. In the sequel to Halloween, Jamie Lee Curtis is saying that she will do Halloween another one as long as the same director comes back.
That's what she said, as long as David Gordon Green directs it.
Yeah.
Said she'll do it. So make it happen. And it would only make sense if they're going to. I mean, I don't want to get into spoilers right now, but yeah, if they do another Nightmare, I absolutely am all for that. Bring back Heather as Nancy. Bring back.
They could pull a Halloween 2018. They could pull it to the Halloween 2018 and have it follow the original movie and ignore all the other sequels. Because a lot of it.
Exactly.
It's not a very good continuity, honestly. The sequels are kind of a mess. Like, I love Part 3. Part 3 is one of my favorite movies of all time. Absolutely.
They're a lot more continuous than some of the other franchises.
Yeah. I'm hoping that Halloween 2018 will start a new trend of sequels over remakes.
Yeah.
I said that they have a lot better continuity than a lot of the other franchises.
Yeah, true.
But I really think that would work well for Nightmare.
Yeah, as I said, Friday the 13th, I think, is the best franchise. Then probably Halloween, then Nightmare, then Texas Chainsaw Massacre is definitely the worst franchise out of all of them, which is surprising because it's the original film, I think, is one of the best horror films ever made. It's like the Citizen Kane of horror, whereas Halloween's the Godfather of horror. But the sequels, oh man, the sequels are a mess. None of them connect with each other. All of them trying to be the one true sequel. Part 3 ignores 2, 4 ignores 3 and 2, and then Texas Chainsaw 3D only follows the first one, as does just such a mess. Like there's so many different continuities. Like it makes the Halloween series look coherent. It makes the X-Men series look coherent.
Right.
It makes their continuity look like nothing.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 didn't even follow the same continuity. They had completely different characters.
Say what?
It followed the events. Lefty was supposed to be Franklin's uncle.
And Sally's
Franklin,
too.
The guy that got killed.
Yeah, it had Drayton. It had the cook. It had Drayton Sawyers, played by Jim Saito. It had Chop Top, who was the hitchhiker's twin brother. He was in Nom during the first movie. It had the grandpa. Leatherface, of course. I think it followed the continuity. It just didn't have the same tone. It didn't have the same style at all. Like, not at all. Like,
that had a bad
like Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2. Evil Dead 2 has a completely different style from the first one, but Maybe not that as much of an extreme. But
Well, Evil Dead 2 is practically just a remake of Evil Dead 1, just
That's
done
exactly-
differently.
no, the
that's
first
exact-
7
I mean,
if you think of
minutes.
it,
The first 7 minutes are a remake of Evil Dead 1. Everything that follows after that is a direct continuation. When you see the thing go through the house and it grabs Ash and flies him through the air, that's when Evil Dead 2 begins. They just couldn't get the footage to show what happened in the first movie because he didn't have the rights to it. So it actually is a continuation. It's a common misconception.
Well, didn't they
It's
like
remake.
change? I mean, but they changed some of the things, like people that went
There's
to the cabin
continuity
with them,
errors.
stuff like that.
Yeah, there's continuity errors galore. I mean, there's so many continuity errors. It didn't look like the same cabin, so I can definitely understand the confusion. But it was intended to be a direct sequel. They just didn't have the rights to use the same footage, and a lot of people hadn't seen the first Evil Dead. Evil Dead 2 had
To
a much
me, that-
wider release.
That right there may be the most consistent, though. Actually, I don't like. There's not a single Evil Dead film I don't like.
Yeah, you're right.
Including
they're
the
so
remake.
wildly different in tone, though. It almost doesn't feel like. I mean, it's a great trilogy. I love it, but they're so different in tone. Like
Same
each
thing you do
movie
with-
is like, because the
You-
first one's
you-
straight up horror, second one's a horror comedy, the third one's a action adventure comedy with horror elements.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. Evil Dead 2 is my favorite movie. I think Halloween is the best horror movie in all technicality, but Evil Dead 2 is my personal favorite.
it's the craziest.
Yeah.
Actually crazy.
I just love the character of Ash so much by Bruce Campbell. I just love that character so much. I adore that character. So
But there is one glaring hole, Mr. Hellhound.
Oh.
So it's supposed to be a continuation of the first one. Then why in the hell would he go back to that cabin with his girlfriend?
No. He never
thought
left.
He thought that
No,
would be
listen.
a great place to spend the weekend.
He never left. He never left the cabin. Part 2
Yeah, but
takes
he
place.
acts like nothing ever happened, though. He acts like we're having a romantic scene, a romantic time with my girlfriend in this cabin again.
The first
After all
7
that
minutes.
happened in the original.
The first 7 minutes are a recap of the first film without using the same footage. If they would have reshot and had like 3 other actors and 3 other characters, it would have been like too long. They would have spent more time recapping the movie than going into the sequel. As soon as he gets flown through the air by the Deadite, that's when the sequel begins. Yeah, there's a lot of continuity errors, sure, but
Guys, I got an idea. I got an idea. One of these nights when all of us have nothing to do, we all start the movie the exact same time.
Yep.
We turn on a Hangouts chat without putting it on YouTube, and we watch the movie together and just discuss it.
But here's what you do. Here's what you got to do.
Yeah.
Watch Evil Dead, put in Evil Dead 2, fast forward the first 7 minutes. As soon as he gets flown through the air, there you go. The movies fit together perfectly. There's still continuity errors like where's the blood from all the other bodies? Why does the cabin look different? But that's just it. It's a movie, and they couldn't fix everything. This Army of Darkness has a lot of inconsistencies with Evil Dead 2. The ending of Evil Dead 2 versus the beginning of Army of Darkness, totally different. Totally different. He was seen as like, it's even more inconsistencies probably. So,
Well, like,
why didn't they just use the footage from the first?
They couldn't.
one?
He didn't have the rights. He didn't have the rights to the
didn't have the
footage.
rights.
He couldn't use it. He couldn't get the rights from New Line, so he had to reshoot a quick recap. And sure, he could have started off where Ash is flown the woods, but a lot of people hadn't seen Evil Dead, so anybody who watched Evil Dead 2 without seeing Evil Dead would have been lost. So they had to put some kind of recap. They had to show him coming to the cabin, finding the Book of the Dead, and all that. And there's a lot of contradictions, but it still fits.
The way I always understood it was that Sam Raimi made a short film, right?
Within the Woods.
Yeah.
Yeah, Within the Woods. And then he got a little bit more money, so he basically made the exact same film again on a bigger scale, which was Evil Dead. And then from what I understood it, he basically did the exact same film again on a bigger scale with Evil Dead 2 when he got a little bit more money.
That makes sense, but Evil Dead 2 really is a continuation of. I mean, it even says the tagline even says the sequel to the most grueling horror movie ever made.
Right, I get that. I get that. I just think it's very, Well,
it's definitely one of the biggest misconceptions of horror. If you watch the Ash versus Evil Dead TV series, he acknowledges the events of both the Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2, both of them happening. He references all the friends he went to with the cabin of the first film. He references Annie and going back in time and all that stuff. So it all happened. It's all canonical. It's just plus it showed being told from Ash. He's telling the story at the end of Army of Darkness, and he went through hell and he hit his head a lot. So maybe it could be explained all the continuity errors or him just misremembering things and getting facts mixed up. So that could be an in-universe explanation for all the you know.
I noticed
also they weren't allowed to talk about.
What's that?
I noticed one thing that they changed the name of the Book of the Dead. Did you notice that? Like it was different in the first
Naturum Demonto, and then it's the Necronomicon Ex Mortis. Yeah.
Yep.
As I said, there's some continuity errors for sure, and if I started listing them, I'd be here all day. But it was always intended to be a direct sequel.
And some of the same things happen too, you know.
In the first 7 minutes,
like the girl when she gets the head chopped off by the shovel, and
that's the first 7 minutes. The first 7 minutes is a remake of Evil Dead. It's a recap. Trust me, I know a lot about this. I've done my homework.
Well, we'll have to bring in Joe on that.
I mean, Sam Raimi himself says the sequel, so I mean that's it doesn't get any more official than that. If Sam Raimi himself says it, as does Bruce Campbell, as does the TV show acknowledging both events, I mean, pretty black and white.
Did they ever? I haven't seen season 3 yet. Did they ever get the rights so they could actually talk about the Army of Darkness in the franchise?
They talked about it in season 2 also.
I didn't hear him talk about it in season 2 that much.
He said, "Oh yeah, I could go back in time, just like when I went to the Middle Ages." It's like he forgot about it.
Yeah, but that's like all he said about it. It was like it was very vague.
But no, they do talk about it a little more in Army of Darkness, and there's a lot of continuity errors in that too. Like, how did he get his car back? His car went back in time.
Yeah.
They turned it into that big machine with a blade. How did he get his car back in the series? And how did he get the book burned at the end of the first movie? There's a lot of continuity.
Well, remember, how many versions of Army of Darkness have you seen?
That's the thing. There's like 5 of them.
Because there's there's 3 or 4 editions, and in one of the editions, he is actually put into a cave in his car with all the stuff taken off of it,
and he wakes up during the apocalypse.
But then there's another version where he just wakes. It's funny.
That's the second one you mentioned is the canonical ending, because that's the one that goes into Ash versus Evil Dead. But I always liked the apocalyptic ending. I always thought that was funny. I thought that fit the the tone of the movies pretty well.
Yeah, because I know I have 3 different versions of that movie at least.
Me too.
Because you got the Screwhead edition, you got the regular edition, and then you had the bootleg directors whatever
cut,
edition. Yeah.
Believe
it's
it
like
or
Star
not,
Wars. It's like Star Wars. There's a lot of different versions.
So I know we were going to talk about the soundtracks for the franchises. What's your guys' favorite franchise soundtrack? I mean,
say it with me now. Ready? Say it with me now. Halloween.
I disagree.
Really?
Yeah, for the first movie, definitely. For her.
You say that?
Yeah, for the first. For like the first movie, definitely the Halloween theme. But as like a franchise as a whole, I think Nightmare on Elm Street has better music.
Oh, well, sorry, I thought you meant like the originals. Yeah, as a franchise, it's a little more tricky, but I'd say like the Halloween theme
definitely
is better than anything.
Definitely the best score for the original movies, most definitely.
Yeah.
And in some of the sequels though, they kind of messed I don't know, they kind of missed some things on like in H2O, I didn't like what they did there.
I didn't really like the way the Halloween theme sounded in part 2 either. I love that movie, but it sounded too, I don't know, like it didn't sound as good. I don't know.
Which one?
Changed it. And Halloween 2, the original Halloween 2, the way the official Halloween theme went, I don't know, it was a little different. It sounded less eerie. It sounded kind of more, I don't know. I don't really know how to describe it.
It sounded like an organ, like more gothic.
Yeah.
I do think it's funny that the only thing I like about Halloween 3 is the music.
Yeah, it had a great score. Actually, the score is very similar, and the tone and the overall mood was kind of similar to the first two films. Actually,
I don't know if I'd go that far, but the music is pretty good.
well, I mean, like the tone, like the dark tone, and like the like the score, and I don't know, like.
Well,
I don't
my
even really
thoughts
take
on
three
that
into
is it's
account when I'm
really
talking about the
hard
series.
for me to decide because I watched Nightmare on Elm Street
What's wrong?
the other day and I thought it was absolutely
Let me see.
so. I think overall, probably Halloween is the most recognizable. That's the
Go in
one
there and get ready
everybody
for dinner.
knows. But I have to give a shout out to Texas Chainsaw too. That had a great soundtrack.
It did.
That's one people forget
Now-
about it.
But that I don't mean the score. I mean like the actual songs, like the actual soundtrack, not so much the
songs.
score. But
It's really awesome too.
Boingo Boingo.
Oh,
Yeah, it
Yeah.
had all kinds of awesome music.
if we're giving it up to the soundtracks, not the score, but the soundtracks, it's definitely Bride of Chucky and Freddy
Bride of
versus
Chucky,
Jason.
yep. I
And
agree.
Freddy versus Jason, hand down. I mean,
Those two had the same
especially the
director,
metalhead.
too.
uh,
Bride of Chucky and Freddy versus Jason were both directed by Ronnie Yu as well.
yeah,
So,
and if you're a metalhead, those are awesome soundtracks.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they are. I agree.
I love that
completely.
when Living Dead Girl comes on and
Yes.
Chucky's just like,
Yeah. Well,
Oh,
Living
I
Dead
love
Girl's
that
at the
part.
beginning of the movie. I think it's actually I think it's
was it?
more
I thought it
human
was
than-
Living Dead Girl when he started headbanging. Which one is it?
Well, Living Dead Girl's at the beginning of the movie when after Tiffany slits the cop's throat and walks away with Chucky's remains in the bag. It's a
I
white
thought it was
zombie song that Chucky's listening to in the car. I think it's Thunder Kiss 65.
Yeah, yes, you're right. You're right. It's just Thunder Kiss. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Nice.
Yeah, pretty sure it's Thunder Kiss 65.
right. And it's at the beginning where it's Living Dead
Living
Girl.
Dead Girl, yeah.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. But yeah, definitely, I love those soundtracks. I mean, just like pure balls out metal.
Yeah.
Well,
for sure.
also Freddy vs. Jason had some kick ass metal in there, like
Yeah,
the
Il
Switch
Nino
Movie.
and yeah. Il Nino.
But I'd say Texas Chainsaw probably the weakest, except for 2. There's not much that stands out in
Yeah.
the franchise other.
Well, the first movie didn't even really have much of a score, really. Like it just
Yeah, it was
it had
more of
certain
like
sounds and
sound.
stuff. But yeah, that's why it felt like a real crime caught on camera to me. It felt like a kind of like a found footage movie without the found footage. You know, it felt like somebody like a documentary, like it was just really happening.
It was
just
really
weird
eerie.
sounds.
The way they did it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Very,
Very effective.
very like
No.
And
very,
of course,
like,
who
Mike
can
subtle.
forget the? Of course, who can forget
Mike-
the from Friday 13th?
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the first 2 movies were amazing with the orchestra with the
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Love it.
Mike Pope,
Great.
welcome to the stream. Definitely welcome to the stream, Mike. Mike says that he did not
Welcome,
like the
Mike.
new Halloween. Why did you not like it, Mike?
And
Yeah, I just
John
asked him
Mike.
why.
How come, man?
Yeah.
Well,
You know what's funny about the
everybody
new
like-
Halloween? The new Halloween
There
is
was
funny because people keep saying, "Oh, this movie's ignoring all the others. That's why I don't want to see it." It's like H2O did that, number one, and then it's like, it's like people are acting like this is the sequel that ruined the series for me. Really, Halloween 2018 is the entry that ruined the series for you? Yeah, okay.
oh come on.
After
That's what I think is
Resurrection, and
funny.
even though
Yeah, but Halloween 2018, that was the bad one. That's the one that steered the series. Right, okay.
right, and
I mean, each
You know,
their
it's
own, but
funny.
it's just the reasoning is funny. Like if you have a different reason, that's fine. But you know, I think it's funny.
big shout out to
Reason.
Jen. Big shout out to Jen's reviews from the grave. Jen is the one
Yes.
person who proved me wrong a little bit with saying that, because I had this theory, and you and I shared this, Hellhound. We talked about on the live stream that people that like the new movie are not fans of the Rob Zombie films, and people that like Rob Zombie don't like this new one.
Right.
Jen is the exception. She likes them both.
Really
Yep, she liked them both.
interesting. They both have very distinct, different styles. So, you know, but I
Yeah.
can
You know
definitely
what's
see
fun?
that. I can see liking them both. Well, I like the original Child's Play, and I love Bride of Chucky almost the same on the same level, even though they're polar opposite. They're two totally different movies of two totally different styles and tones. But I still love them both just about equally, just in different ways. So I can
Still
see
needs
that.
longer.
I'd say most people do. Most people like both.
Yeah, I would
Bride
think so.
of
A lot
Chucky.
of people I'm noticing recently are hating on Bride of Chucky. It seems like ever since Curse of
Really?
Chucky came out, people are hating on it. I've noticed a little more. It's become
Really?
a little more. I don't know.
I know that people have hated on the Tiffany character in the last couple since Seed of Chucky.
Yeah,
but I haven't heard any bad about Bride.
Well, it's like those people don't want change. It's like they hate that he had a new look with the stitches. They hate the Tiffany character. It's like, do we really want to see another movie where he's going after a kid and trying to transfer a soul into his body? I'm glad they does something different. They kept it refreshing. Same with the Jason series. Part 7, Part 8, Part 9, Part 10 did something different. It wasn't the same thing over and over again.
That you know what, dude? That is
I know
actually
that can
the
also
one part.
be a deterrent, but as long as they don't go too far, like with Rob Zombie's Halloween, which is another example. I like when they change it up a little bit, you know, as long as they stay true to the, you know, the source material and don't like mess with the mythology too much.
As long as it's
Mike
good.
Pope said that. Mike Pope said the plot was all wrong. The ending, the doctor stabbing the cop. He can go on and on. And definitely, Mike, I would love to get with you and talk to you about that, but it would be kind of unfair since I'm on the camera and you're not just typing. I feel like overpower. I would definitely want to keep it on an even playing
We're
field.
going to talk about spoilers in the horror hangout video.
That's right.
For Halloween. So we're not going to talk about it in this video.
Oh, yes, we are.
So I have a lot to say. I have a lot to say about the spoilers.
Me too.
Yeah.
I think one
can't wait to
thing
get
I'll
out my
say.
chest. I have this one theory that I've never
Hi,
heard
cool
anybody
boys.
say yet. So
Yeah. But I was just gonna say I have one thing that I think people. It seems like they have unrealistic expectations.
yeah, I don't know what they were expecting. Like I really don't know what the haters were expecting.
Or something like really. There's no
Well, the
way
two most
it's gonna be.
important things. Yeah, the two most important things for me was Michael was scary again. He was emotionless. He was unrelatable. He wasn't human. He lacked a conscience. And Laurie was gay. Jamie Lee Curtis gave what I think is the best performance in the series. She was a very layered character. She had so many different dimensions to her character. Those are the two most important elements to me, and they nailed those elements. I have some issues with it. There's some things I didn't like for sure. There's definitely some things I want to change. But overall, I think it was definitely very true to the source material while keeping it fresh and adding a new spin to things, which I didn't think was possible. They had it was like Myers. They knew when to focus on him and show him up close, and then they knew when to keep him in the shadows. Rob Zombie's movies didn't know to do that. They didn't even use the theme at the right time. But this movie did. This movie really knew when to what to do and when to do.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. They got the two most important things nailed. You know? So Mr. Hellhound, you said 30, right?
Yeah.
You say you wanted to wrap it up.
I mean, yeah, I think we pretty much covered everything. If anybody else wanted to add anything, I mean, I don't really have anything else to contribute.
You know what? Let's just talk for a second about what we're doing. What do you guys got coming up?
Well, we all have the horror hangout coming up later this month on
looking forward to that.
November 24th, Saturday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're gonna debut a couple new members like Mr. Hellhound here from the HorrorMetal channel, and Jen's reviews from the grave.
It's gonna be exciting.
And we're
really not gonna be the same without Lisa, but
yeah,
she was such a huge part of it. She was such a presence. I felt like in the last couple live streams, like she was just like I don't know. She was kind of like I feel like she was kind of the main focus in some ways. Like she was kind of like the, she was kind of the one who brought everybody together. You know, she kind of dominated the conversation in a good way, and
in a good,
kind of kept the video interesting.
Right.
Yeah, she's great.
She'll definitely be sorely missed, honestly. And I wish she could have hung with it longer, but
Me too.
What
But
can you do? Who knows? Maybe she'll return someday. Fingers crossed.
Bronco, what do you got going on?
Well, aside from the hangout, I'm gonna do your video that was turned into a tag. I'm gonna do that. The top 10. I'm sorry, my brain just.
Our franchise.
Yeah, that one.
I need to
And
do
then
that as well.
I'm gonna if I just got my webcam in today, which I was trying to use on this, but if I can get this webcam working right so I can host my own live stream stuff, I would like to start this one-on-one with Bronco Juggalo segment that I've been talking about doing for a while.
Wow, cool.
See if I can get some people on there. Not just I want to have like you on, Sean, and all my friends on or Hellhound, you come on. But then I also want to see if I could get like some other people on. I want to see if I can get like I had talked to the guys from some of the movies I've been reviewing that I've gotten feedback from. I would like to try and get them on there, and just
Nice.
do a couple different things like that, kind of like an interview segment.
I've been wanting to do that as well. Once I figure out how to do it, I would love to. I would absolutely love to do that. It's been something I've been dying to do, but unfortunately, I think it's not going to let me do it for my HorrorMetal account. Like this account I'm using right now is actually my Hellhound account. It's my other YouTube. Like when I sign in, I had to choose between two of them, and this is the one that I use for Google Plus. So I'm afraid that it'll probably be under this account, which would be pointless because there's nothing under this account. No subscribers, no videos, nothing. So, but maybe there's a way around that. There could be. So I'm going to keep trying. I'm not going to give up. But I would love to do that as well. Have interviews and have guest appearances and a one-on-one conversation with different different guests on fellow YouTubers on my channel. That'd be wonderful. I would absolutely love to do that.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward. To having like Dave on so we can have a whole out conversation on movie making and on Groundhog and things like that. I mean, we've had the conversation a million times, but I want somebody else to see it, I mean,
I'd love to see that.
yeah, and just I mean that and just the normal stuff that I do. I'm gonna Bill and I are working through the Aliens and Predators right now.
Nice.
I need to get to those myself.
I'm thinking about starting the Child's Play or the Leprechaun soon. I don't know which. Plus, I got these French films that were sent to me by. I'm still going to mess this up again. I can never say this word correctly. Omniscient Esquire.
Omniscient.
Omniscient.
I can't. I don't know if I'm saying it right or not, but he's a good subscriber of mine and a really awesome guy. He sent me a bunch of movies just for, because out of the kind of his heart. And he wants me, so I could watch them and so I could do reviews. And I'm going to do those. Cool. I did the first one, High Tension, already. And then I've got a bunch of Wild Eyes I need to review.
And definitely a one-on-one live stream with Random at Videos too, right?
Oh, we went there.
Did I go there? Yeah. Whoops.
Not gonna say that.
Whoops.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are gentlemen, so
anyway.
Sean and Bronco are gentlemen, so
Well, I'm not gonna talk bad about anybody in particular on the live stream. So
I agree. I was just joking around.
Yeah.
So I was gonna say one thing. I do have the 300 subscriber contest going on, and that ends on November 29th is when I'll do the drawing.
Yeah,
so
congrats on that, Sean. That's so awesome.
Thank you.
I was gonna say, didn't I do my entry already?
You did, yeah.
Okay.
But
congrats, bro.
I still need to do that. Yeah, I haven't been very active on YouTube here lately. I've been kind of really looking forward to this right here, and other than that, I haven't really been doing much. I do need, there's like a big, huge list of things I need to do, and that's definitely one of them.
Man, you want them 6 more subscribers? You better get on it.
That's true. Yeah, I need to.
Yeah.
I need to get cracking on it.
Come on. We need you up there, bro. We need you in our superstar status.
Oh, yeah.
Get cracking.
Spread the word. Bronco, did you say you're going to review the Leprechaun movies?
Yeah, I'm definitely thinking about reviewing the Leprechauns or the Child's Play first. I'm not sure which one I want to do first yet.
Well, I've done Child's Play already, but I'd like to review the Leprechaun movies myself. At least the first like 3, or
Maybe we could do something together on that. Maybe we could figure something
that'd
out.
be awesome. I would love to collaborate. As many collaborations as possible. The more, the better. I just wish I could do it on my channel.
I agree, and I agree. I love doing the collabs. The biggest thing for me on YouTube has been these relationships that we found.
I agree.
Yes.
This is my favorite part.
That is
all these cool people.
that is the best part. And there's so many good people on here that I've connected with that I hold as friends, and that's something I don't give lightly. So,
Indeed.
I want to, I want to do more collabs. I want to do something with Hellhound. I'm glad that we got this going. We've been wanting to do this for a long time. We've been talking about doing this live stream for 4 months now. We've been talking about it.
Yeah.
It's finally become a reality. I'm so proud.
Well, I think it worked out quite well. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think it was awesome.
I wish there was a way to put it like on all 3 of our channels, so more people,
I know, right?
Too bad there's not a way to do that.
I was thinking about that too. If you can get yours working, Hellhound, if you can get yours working, maybe you could host the next one. And then as long as this camera and all works out for me, maybe I could do the next. We could rotate it on the channels.
Yeah, if I figure out
it doesn't matter,
Yeah, if I figure out mine, it'd be a good thing to do. But I think if not, we should probably keep it on Sean's channel just for consistency, so it's not doesn't get too confusing, because some of my viewers already had a hard time figuring out to come here to this channel to watch this, and I noticed some of them didn't make it.
Right.
So,
and I've been dropping it on. I've been dropping it on Twitter too, and letting people know.
Yeah.
So if we do that, if we just
a little better, but isn't there not a lot of
if we
people
just
saw that video I made? But
like I don't do Facebook, but I do Twitter and Instagram.
Right.
Next time I'll try and do a little better, get some better promos out there, and put it out more for us. And
it's a sure thing that we have going.
Yep. So.
But yeah, great first show, guys. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I had fun.
Sorry about the technical difficulties.
That's okay. We figured it out really quickly, so.
Yeah. What do you think? Earlier in the month like this is the best time?
Yeah, early next month.
That way you spread it out from the hangout.
I'd say once a month. Once a month at least.
Yeah. Right.
Just like the hangout.
Okay.
Yep. Sounds good to me.
Okay, baby, I'll be right there.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys could get it going on either one of your channels, I have no problem with that.
Yeah.
However it works, I'm all good with doing it right here, Sean. It doesn't matter to me. Whatever works for everybody. So, my baby is telling me that it's dinner time.
Yeah, I haven't eaten dinner yet either, so.
All right, guys, should we wrap it up then?
Yeah, brother. I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, this was great.
Great show, guys. Thanks, everybody, for joining the Blood Spattered Trio.
Peace out, everybody.
All right, peace out, everybody. Have a good night.
Later.
Say bye.